Hi everyone, Bandanner here, and welcome back to WARNO League Season 0.5 from SDL. Today we have the start of the ultimate grudge match between Tman, number 1 on the ranked ladder, and Lathans, the winner of the previous tournament. Once again, they are going up against each other as they did in the finals of that tournament. This time it's the quarterfinals. Who comes out on top? Today we have the first two games back to back, which I live cast yesterday over on Twitch. The final game will go up on the channel tomorrow. If you're interested in seeing that now and cannot wait, go over to my Twitch channel. I'll leave a link to the video down below and you can watch the VOD without any editing. Also, please do check out Tman over on Twitch. The link will be down below. Lathans will eventually start streaming on Twitch again. He's just busy with work stuff at the moment. Okay, and today, as a special treat for these games, I'm going to show off the decks beforehand. Now, I know some people really would like this on every game. The reason I don't do that is because there's no agreement in place that we show off the decks. Obviously, we can cast the games, but when it comes to the decks, I feel rude just sharing people's decks without asking permission first, and chasing everybody to get permission all the time just isn't feasible. Of course, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the majority of players would be quite happy for me to do that. So for those of you who are interested, please do hang around. Otherwise, feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter in the video where the game actually starts. So we have Tman's 39th division for this first game. Tman playing as the 39th and Lathans is playing as the 5th Panzer division. 39th deck here, quite straightforward, nothing too outlandish. Logistics wise, we have plenty of supply and we have the BTR 60, pretty much the same as what I have in my deck. Then we've got a couple of Motostrelki, Sapri LPO, Metis squad, Conquer's squad, some BMP2s with a Motostrelki, some BMP3s, and a Sapri Commander. Then in the artillery, we do have an Uragan and a D20 152mm, no mortars brought here. Tanks, we've got a couple of stacks of T80Bs ranked up to veteran. And then we've got the BVs, 4 cards of, and a single card of T80 BVK. Not going too heavy on the tank commands here. In Recon, we have Razvedka, Mot Razvedka, and Mi-24K. Obviously, wanting to be able to field that destructive power early with that Recon chopper, or in Tman's case, often use it defensively. Then we've got the Igla, the Strela, and the Cub. Pretty standardized again. Then for helicopters, we actually have slightly different to what I sometimes see people take, purely rockets here. And I think that might be just for this game, but he's gone for Mi-24 rockets across the board. And then for aircraft, we have 2 cards of MiG-23 and a MiG-27K LGB card. As I say, nothing too outlandish there, nothing memey, very standard sort of 1v1 deck for 39th. Not that I would expect anything different in this situation. Now on to Lathans' 5th Panzer deck for this game. So, again, we're seeing a lot of supply, 2 Man-Cat cards, a Unimog card as well, and the Iltis command because you get 3 of them. Then we've got Milan 2s, we've got Panzer Grenadiers coming in Unimog, 2 cards of. We also have Panzer Grenadiers coming in the Marder 1A3 Milan, 2 cards of, and here we're seeing them ranked down to just trained, and that's because he's wanting them more for the Marder 1A3 Milan and its fire support, rather than necessarily for line infantry. There's also some Pioneer Flams in there, some Pioneer Ambust, and the very strong Feldjäger. Don't underestimate those units. Then in terms of artillery, we've got the Tampella mortars. Lathans loves his mortars. I expect to see some of those used in these games. We also have the 155mm cannon, and interestingly an M110A2G, the big heavy piece of artillery. Interesting to see if he brings that out. Don't see it used that often in tournament games, on and off, but not too often. Then in terms of the tanks, 2 cards of Leo 2A3 command. Interesting, I suspected he would go for the Leo 1A5 command rather than 2A3, but indeed he has gone 2A3 here. We've got some Leo 1A1A1s and a card of Leo 1A5s. Then we've got Leo 2A3s, 3 cards of, and then 2 Leo 2A4s. Going for the heavy tank option here. Obviously, going up against the 39th, he wants to make sure he has plenty of armor. Then in Recon, we've got Jaeger Aufkel, the Fernswehr, and the Alouette. Nothing too exciting there. Anti-air, Fliegerforce, Gepard, and Roland 3. Lathans being quite a big fan of the Roland 3, I myself prefer the Roland 2 because I like not to have to babysit something. Then the obvious choice here for the helicopters, the Apaches, goes without saying I suppose. And then finally, in terms of the aircraft, we have a card of the F4F anti-tank, the Tornado IDS HE, and the F-16C Seed. There is no anti-air jet here, so he's relying purely on those jets to also provide air cover if the ground air defense doesn't get it. Alright, let's get straight into the action. I'll chapter everything so you can jump to the parts you're interested in. Let's get going. So, Lathans over on the left in blue playing as the 5th Panzer, and over on the right in red we have Tman playing as the 39th. Very common map. It's been in the game since the start. Both these guys know how to play it. What strategy they go with varies, but usually from these two we see a lot of aggression down here at Echo and Charlie, and then sort of later fighting over Alpha. That's not always how it plays out though. We've seen it done very differently in the tournament recently. So watch this space. Lathans looks to have more down at the minute, so maybe we can get an idea of his spread. I'm going to hide that panel because we're live anyway. We are caught up to them, or as close as we can get with a delay. So, Recon going up to the middle here. Some Jaeger Aufkol going up here. Standard defensive positioning with the placement there. But look at all of this down here for Lathans. We'll come back to that in a minute. Going to the center, we have some Panzer Grenadiers, a Roland 3 and a Command. The Command obviously heading up through Delta and into the center. Infantry heading over there. And the Roland 3 just heading into the tree lines at the back here. Over here, we have 3 Fliegerforsts, 2 Leo 1A5s, a Leo 2A3 and a Roland 3 heading up here. This is pretty aggressive opening down here. Obviously, very defensive placement at the moment, not pushing too far forward, but this is opening to push this bottom part of Echo into Charlie over towards Tman. And here again, Pioneer Armbusts, a Leo 1A5 and a Command heading up to here. We're seeing a lot of tanks down here. That is in total 3 Leo 1A5s and a Leo 2A3. Obviously, expensive outlay for a 2A3. Over at the other side, Tman, Razvedka here, heading to that building. Again, standard deployment really. More Razvedka heading up to, oh, a little bit further back here. So one going into there, that's pretty standard. This one staying all the way back here. Usually you expect it to go into either the tree line or the building there. And then we've got Razvedka here as well going up to this tree line. Oh, interesting, that's these tree lines. Nothing in terms of recon going to Charlie. He does have a couple of squads here, a Motostrelki and a Sapri squad going up to these buildings, defensive in nature, and an Igla squad heading up to that building there. The majority of Tman's forces as the game start, though, are heading up to Alpha. So we have a Motostrelki heading up to the back here just to cover the rear. We've got some Motostrelki in a BMP-2 and a Motostrelki Metis and a Strela just pushing up to these buildings here. And then in the center we have Motostrelki Metis, Motostrelki in a BMP-3, a T-80B, a couple of Strelas, a BTR Command, and a Supply all heading up to the middle here. So, could be that Tman gets caught a little bit off guard here. I'm going to switch over to the controller, so we have a slightly smoother time of things. Here we are. No helicopters out early. Doesn't look like there's any jets out yet for either player. Question is, how aggressively does Lathans play the bottom here? Does he go from Echo to Charlie straight away? And how quickly does Tman respond to that? Does he push aggressively through the center, knowing there's not a lot there? Or does he respond by moving units down to Charlie to defend? Already seeing there, a Milan 2 has just been called in for the center up here by Lathans. He's also calling in some units at the very top of the map, as obviously that's quite open for him right now. Attack marker gone straight down on that building. And on this building as well, by the looks of it. Interesting. Maybe giving us an idea of what he's planning to hit. I'm just going to turn this around slightly. I was waiting to see if Lathans had a bomber or something coming in. A HE bomber would have been an interesting choice there. Or an artillery piece, but it's early for an artillery piece. That's a heck of an investment this early in the game. It's not very often you see an artillery piece come out immediately. T80BV in the center there. Interesting that Lathans has actually redirected that initial Leo 2A3 to the center. So it never came down here in the end. He actually redirected it to the center. So the push at the bottom just was never going to happen. Lathans with a little bit of advantage in points because he had 2 commands in as opposed to Tman's 1, but not a big difference at this stage. Both players have an exceptionally large amount of tanks at their disposal, and this is a map that is good for a tank wall, and both players would like time to build that up. Lathans going in here, pushing his tanks up, going for that infantry, possibly trying to lure out Tman to get a little early advantage in some kills. Artillery in for Lathans. Going for the command at the back and getting very lucky hits right now. Oh, wow. Surely that's his luck done. Yeah. That was quite lucky. Which artillery piece is that? Is that the M110? I'm coming all the way back to have a look at that. It is the M110. I was going to say there were big explosions, a lot of damage done. That's an expensive outlay, that unit. Right at the start of the game. Lathans obviously looking to dislodge. But equally, Tman will be aware of that fact. So he has potentially more actual units on the field right now. And a T80BV is called in at the back there. I'm sure Tman wants to build up some tanks, as will Lathans here. Interesting. Morazvedka being held further back than the building here, and Lathans is actually pummeling the building. That's a good choice by Tman. He's basically avoiding the artillery by not being in the expected position. That's quite well placed by Tman. BMP2s. Potential for pushing in the center there. Marker has gone down on the T80BV. I expect this is just Lathans marking up for artillery strikes. Do notice he's still got these Pioneer armbusts down here, but they're not actually going anywhere right now. Not quite the aggressive opening I was expecting from Lathans when he bought all those tanks. It's been much more gentle. I expect both players are looking to exchange well here, because whoever loses the most units is going to be massively on the back foot when it's these two against each other. So both players, as I say, will want to build up a lot of tanks. They're going to want to play with those tanks very carefully, because if Lathans starts losing 2A3s or Tman starts losing those T80BVs, they're not going to be in a good position to continue the game. They'll be looking for equal exchanges here. Or better. Good use of artillery harassment by Lathans here. He has good eyes on. Just managing to do some damage to infantry pushing in. Bit of movement here by Tman. I did think he might do a little push down here with those infantry and the BMPs. He is doing so. Moving out the T80s as well, going straight for the Leo 2A3. Obviously the BMPs have the advantage of range, but here they're very close to each other. Everything's quite tight in the middle. Leo 1A5 goes down. T80BV goes down though. Lathans won't mind losing a couple of 1A5s to take out that BV. That is definitely not the end of the world for him. The Leo 1A5 pushing up here now. Gets a nice kill on a BMP-2. Leo 2A3 still engaging, but Panic takes a nasty hit from the T-80B. Not looking great for Lathans down here in this corner. The infantry are doing the job of overwhelming. And yes, in the top left-hand corner of the screen there, you can see just one squad of Motostrelki pushing around the back. Mostly to harass the supply line more than anything else, I would imagine. They're not going to do any serious damage once Lathans realizes they're there. Another Leo 2A3 here. One that was badly damaged is pulled back to safety. But control of the center here looking pretty good. I don't think Lathans was really ready for the push of all those infantry. Iltis command having to be moved back now. Leo 2A3 coming in to dish out some damage to the infantry. We do have the Apache in play at this side of the screen now. Obviously would like to clear out these infantry. More BMP-2s coming in. At this side of the screen, to the right, we do see the Pioneer Ambus have moved up very slightly, but there's not enough here to push really at the moment. There is a Leo 1A5 down here that's not really doing much at the moment. Could possibly see that pushed up by Lathans. But Tman has a good control at the moment of the center. He needs to push Lathans right out though. Strella's coming in from the back there. Tman remembering to move up his AA with his other forces. The Apache rocket, very effective helicopter, but doesn't have the Hellfires, unlike its Apache counterpart. So doesn't pose quite as much threat to those T-80s. Model 103 goes down. Oh, Milan 2 gets a nice hit on the T-80BV, but does go down in the process. It's hard to say who's exchanging better at the moment. Certainly Tman in terms of number of units killed. But one T-80BV went down where the Leos are still intact here, or the two Leo 2A3s. Lathans won't be losing any sleep over the 1A5 losses at the moment. Motostrelki up at the top of the screen there, as I said, did manage to do some damage to the supply lines. Has really smashed up that Leo as it came in, but the immediate response there is the Apache will go and clear up those infantry. Tman maneuvering around the top here. He does have some tanks coming in behind the camera as well to this top section. He's looking to squeeze Lathans from multiple sides. All Lathans needs to do is hold on to a corner, but he needs to gain some control over this area here just to stop Tman being able to fire at him from multiple angles. Lots of Marders coming in and some Leo 1A101s down there over at the other side. Obviously hoping to clear this tree line, I imagine. Apache's moving up here to try and kill the infantry in that building. They are evacing. Strela has moved up into range. The Apache's doing its wiggle, managing to dodge all those missiles. Marker went down on the Strela, but it's already being moved around. And here are those T-80BVs coming in to push from this side as well. Tman managing to keep some good pressure on here. Still managing to be very aggressive at that side. The reinforcements that arrived for Lathans already taking quite a bit of damage as they try to push through the forest. Still the Panzer Grenadiers to move in over there. Motostrelki gets the kill on the Leo here. As I say, Tman just has good map control right now. He's in control at the top and he's in control over here. Unfortunately for Lathans, he's really struggling to get back into this forest area, and at the same time is having quite an extended fight there. Leo 2A3's trying to get some kills on those T80 BVs in the middle. Leo 1A1's moving up as well, but the Leos go down pretty quickly in this situation. Does manage to clear up the BMPs there, but the T80 does escape. Panzer Grenadier Marder's not faring very well down here. If we just zoom out all the way, it's looking pretty good for Tman in terms of the red blobs on the screen. Certainly lots and lots of blue deaths here. Lathans will not be happy with this exchange rate at the moment. He's managing to keep the Leo 2A3s alive, but very little else is staying alive here. Tman has a roll going. This is the middle, falling to Tman. Another couple of Leos coming in the middle there. Lathans is going to have to do some serious work to take this back now. And the command goes down. Tman switches to a +3. Will quickly now catch up to that 140 point advantage that Lathans had. Now we're going to have to wait and see what positioning Tman takes here. He could opt to be aggressive and try and push the back point. He could also opt to bring in a lot down the bottom. Let's spin round. He is calling in an Igla there. Sapriop. Oh, here we go. Looks like he's either planning a major defense or a major assault down there. I imagine he's thinking about assaulting that point Echo that currently belongs to Lathans. Tman in a good position right now. He's got plenty of infantry. He's saturated the middle. He's got some good lines of fire. Look at the Conkers here. Good line of sight across to that side of the point. Jet came in there just to attack the recon chopper. Lathans using recon at each side of the map to try and stop things going around the back. Artillery being used to try and clear the infantry out of the forest at the edge of this point. Lots of units being called in at the bottom there. Now the question is that Lathans responding to what he expects is going to be a push over here? Or is that him planning to push there? Obviously he needs to get back into this central point. 14 minutes, 50 odd seconds to the victory for Tman as it currently stands. Lathans needs to do some pushing somewhere. Spin us around to have a look at what Lathans is getting up to down here. He's moving all his Leo 2A3s into this lower section of the map. His infantry have managed to make it into the forest here. This is probably the furthest he's got so far into this area. He certainly outnumbers Tman there now. But there will be plenty of supporting fire available from the T80s located up here. And all those reinforcements coming in at the bottom of the map. Definitely setting up to defend with Conkers in position now. Could potentially still attack though. This is great for Lathans. He's managed to get the infantry in. He's now moving the tanks in as well. That's quite a hefty force moving in there. Motorstroke, you do get a nice hit off on the Leo 2A3. He still needs a command. And there we go. Iltis command moving up from this bottom point Echo to that corner. It's a good choice for Lathans realistically because he knows he's not going to be shot from here because he still controls most of this area. The threat is in the middle. T80 BV goes down. Very nice. No Leo 2A3s went down in that engagement, but he did get another T80 BV. And that's one of the key things right now, is in terms of these big heavy tanks, Lathans hasn't lost any 2A3s, but Tman has lost 2 BVs that I've spotted so far. And those big tank exchanges are really important. Yes, the infantry and everything else matters, but while there's still the ability to operate those 2A3s, it's not completely over for Lathans. I'm surprised. I was about to say, where's the artillery? And there it is. Uragan firing on this corner, looking for a kill on that command. He's lost a few T-80Bs, but the Bs are, they're alright, but they're not a BV. Good choice by Tman there. Managed to force the command out. But the command will go back in on 1 pip of health. Milan 2 there, trying to get some shots on the T-80Bs. Well spotted, Fart. Leo 2A3s. Getting a little bit close to the Conkers there. Ooh. That was a lucky 2A3. That was actually side on to that Conkers missile. That would have been very nasty. Lathans hanging on in there, trying to clear out the rest of this forest area. Obviously taking substantial damage from the tanks at the other side. What's happening down here? Motostrelki and RPO are moving up towards the Pioneer Armbust. They may just plow through these units. Not a lot else coming in down here, though. So it's not like Tman is going to do a full assault there. Just a little bit of harassment. But Tman with a nice lead on the points right now. Leos rolling in at the bottom there. Just 1A1A1s, but they're good for absorbing damage. Lathans should clear this forest area, though his infantry are going to be in a bad shape by the end of it. Uragan is off again. Surely gets the kill on the command this time. Oh, it was only 2 missiles. Command does exit. I assume that was the remainder from the previous shot. Let me just see if I can click on it. Yeah, currently reloading. It was just what was left from the previous volley. Leo 203 is moving back in. He's looking for kills on these T-80BVs. He needs to clear them up. But Tman isn't being silly. He's being very careful with them. He's microing them back and forwards as he needs to. One of the Leos there took a lot of damage. Another one badly damaged as well. And this is the thing. We're now in a situation where every time these Leo 203s push up, they're getting shot from multiple angles, either by tanks or by ATGMs of some description. So there's a lot of fire going in at them. Down here, just checking what's happening. No real movement of the infantry. They just stood looking at each other. Uragan prepping to fire again. Where's it going this time? Let's have a little look. Straight back on that corner. Really wants to kill that command. The truth is, there are actually some sneaky little positions. If I zoom in with my mouse for a second, there's some sneaky little positions here where you can be over the side of the hill but still have your command in the point. which means that they can't see it from the inside. Lathan's being pretty aggressive here. He needs to try and clear out some of this infantry. Leo's taking a bit of a battering. But the Marders have reached a critical mass, so they can actually do some serious damage to the infantry in the buildings now. Leo's only taking hits to the front armor right now, which is great for the Leo 203s. And most of the Conkers dealt with. Metis has also been dealt with. We've still got a Conkers up here. And Lathan's still managing to keep the 2A3s. Oh! That Leo 2A3 commander's been brought in there. A little bit panicked now, but did survive that hit. I was expecting a side shot. Just having a quick look at what's happening over here. Mi-24 rockets coming in to try and clear up the infantry. Not a lot of AA in for Lathans. That could come back to bite him in the arse. He does have a couple of Fliegerforce knocking around at the bottom here, but not a lot in the middle. Lathan's trying to reposition his forces now. Leo 2A3's up here with some 1A1A1s pushing in from that side to try and catch Tman in the same crossfire that he's had Lathans in for quite a while. Uragan reloading to fire again. I'm assuming that's positioned on exactly the same area. I wonder if he realizes there's a Leo 2A3 command there now. He may or may not have spotted that. Obviously, trying to hit that with the Uragan, it'll damage it, but it probably won't kill it. So the corner is still the better choice. Infantry over here pushing in, but about to walk into a wall of fire. Tank support going in with them. Well, the O2A3 should fare pretty well as long as they don't get too close to the infantry. The MP2 goes down. The T-80BVs are more of an issue. Oh, Conkers gets a side shot on the Leo 2A3 there. That took quite a lot of damage. The artillery's coming in on that corner. The initial barrage hit one corner, and the second half of the barrage trying to get the command tank, but Lathan's paying attention. He's moved them out of the way. His little assault at this side has failed, however. Didn't do as much damage as he would have liked, I don't think. Has to retreat from the Mi-24s. Loads of Fliegerforce coming in now. As I said, the lack of AA was going to come back to bite him, and that was one of those situations. Fliegerforce, though, opening up on the Mi-24. Not getting any hits. He'll be disappointed with that, but he has managed to scare it away. Marker once again gone down on that corner. The Iltis command's actually been repaired from where it was a short while ago. Fliegerforce coming in there as well. Some AA is better than no AA in this situation. Mi-24 rocket does take at least one hit from a Fliegerforce. A little bit of skirmishing down here between the Sapriapio, Motorstrelki, and the Pioneer Ambust. Pioneer Ambust backing off. Obviously, not the best fight for them to be in. We might see some reinforcements called in down here for Lathans soon. And there are certainly more arriving for Tman. Tman intending here to keep the pressure on. With just under 14 minutes left of the game, Lathans needs to take some more ground sooner rather than later. Clearing Tman out the centre, I think, is going to be a challenge here. certainly not going to be an easy job. The question is, can Lathans find a way to force himself through and have a bit of a breakthrough in one part of that center point? Mortars in for Lathans. Is this for smoke or is this for just mortaring in general? I was going to click on it, but I want the surprise. I want to see when it lands. No, just standard mortar shells, not smoking. Tman being a little bit pushy over here at the right-hand side. Getting closer to Echo. He's bringing in a T-80 BVK as well. That is definitely coming down here. Immediate response by Lathans. Lots of tanks moving down this way. His intention obviously to defend. Splitting some off now. I wonder if he'll try and get some shots from here and some from around this area. Sapri Commander being brought into the middle for Tman as well. 252mm howitzers in for Tman as well. Obviously just really wants to dislodge the commands that Lathans has parked in the point. This is where the big fight is going to happen next though. Lathans needs to stop this push and ideally counter push immediately afterwards because he needs to take ground here. He needs to start getting some points. Reinforcement infantry arriving. Deployed just in time. Fuchsmalan there getting some nice hits on the T-80B. Lathans will be happy with that. Good use of mortars here as well. Lathans still struggling in the middle when it comes to AA, but Fliegerforce from the bottom here, managing to engage on the Mi-24 at the top right of the screen. I think we're going to see a Lathans counter push at the bottom here. I can already see Tman redirecting some of his tanks from the center down to the bottom, but he's also trying to push the center at the same time. Lathans using smoke to try and block any fire in towards these units. Marder's just charging through here. That is risky business. Motorstrelki gets a nice hit on one and kills it, along with the infantry inside. Lathans certainly going to hold here by the looks of it. And here's the push. Where's his anti-air is the question. Couple of tanks here. Can be easily dealt with. The scarier thing are probably these helicopters. There's a Roland 3 pushing up. Jet on the way in as well. Laser Guided bombers finally making an entrance. Going for some kills on tanks. Gets a kill on the Leo 2A3 command tank. And another Leo 2A3 goes down. First Leo losses in terms of the 2A3s for Lathans. That was well defended down here by Lathans. He moved lots of units to do it though, and is now being pushed in the middle. The Uragan coming in again with all of those missiles. Lots of damage done there. Iltis command was destroyed. There isn't another Iltis command at the back of Echo that can be moved in here. There's also another Leo 2A3 command back there for Lathans. That's the one that was in the point anyway. Just took a bit of damage. Currently +3 to Tman again. Lathans is Q moving into the middle here. With his Fuchsmalans and everything else. Roland 3 in a bad position there. Going a little bit rogue up on its own near the T-80Bs. That's that side of the point kind of cleared by Lathans now. Has Lathans holding out for long enough finally paid off? He's pushing at this side as well. Fliegerforce going all in too. This could also be a last-ditch Q move by Lathans to just try and control part of the map. Using smoke to try and block fire support from the tanks and ATGMs
of Tman. Loads of martyrs called into the center there. This is possibly the end of the game here. Lathans going all in. Make or break time. His command tank's not quite in the point. Mi-24's coming back in. Flieger Forst get a kill on one. Along with the Roland. Another one goes down as well. Command is back in the center. Iltis command moving in down here as well. Could this aggression be paying off for Lathans here? He's just pile driving through with units at the moment. But there's still a lot of T-80s alive at the other side of this point, look. Look at all those T-80s spread around. And I feel like Lathans has sacrificed a lot to get to this stage. There's Leo 2A4 there, very badly damaged. It may as well be dead. Oh dear. T-80BV goes down. Jets coming in from this side. AT jets looking for kills on some of these tanks. There's a lot of AA there, though. How are things looking at the bottom of the map? Oh, Lathan's looking a bit thin on the ground here. He doesn't really have anything defending this point anymore. And Tman's bringing in other units. Still a chance for him to move that T-80BVK into Echo down here. As I say, I really feel like that was Lathan's last-ditch attempt to push and gain some ground. And he did it. He has gained ground, but at what cost? He lost a lot of units. He's keeping the pressure on, though. T-80's taking a lot of damage here. I think he's pretty much using his infantry as recon, whether they're recon or not right now, so that when things open up, it allows his tanks to fire back. All these martyrs that were called into the center redirected into this forest here. One immediately dies from the Mother Strelky. Look at these things go. Firing on the move, dishing out a lot of damage. Loses another one, though. I mean, he knows he's going to lose them in this situation. He deploys one at the back there. These guys just charging in. Deploying right in front of these tanks. Tman is completely falling apart in the middle. Lathan's massive Q move has paid off. He's also got reinforcements coming in down at this side. Look, all those infantry arriving. Another Leo command tank goes down. But he's still got his Iltis command in there. Look at these things go. Mi-24 is doing a good job of defending still. But he's not going to stop all of this. The Rolands are coming in as well. What a turnaround. A game that looked like it had completely gone in Tman's favour. A sudden and massive turnaround. It's not over yet. There's 4 minutes left and Tman is still way in the lead in points. Lathan's still not in the best position here. +3. Victory in 15 minutes. Can he catch up to Lathans in that time? It's a best of 3, so whoever has the most points wins it. Laser guided bomber coming in again. Doesn't drop its bombs. Does take a nasty hit though. Over at the other side of the map. Lathan scrambling to defend that side, using his mortars to lay down fire on those infantry coming in. T-80BVK enters the center and a BTR-60 command over at the far side. pushing up to this point for Tman. He's just going to charge it in. All he needs to do is hang on for 3.5 more minutes. He just needs to maintain some semblance of control of the points. He doesn't really need to score more, but any increase in points is a good thing. Lathans having to quickly redirect to the bottom of this point. Modostrelki waiting in that forest there. Oh, they missed the 2A4. T80 BVK gets the kill, though. IDS comes in here with the HE bombers. And there's the damage done, but it's over. Lathans surrenders in the dying moments of the game. Tman out in the lead with kills there. Really well played, guys. I thought for a semblance of a moment, Lathans was about to take that back. What a game. Let's have a little look at the kills and losses there. It'll take those guys a short while to prepare themselves for the next game. They'll have a little break in between, I'm sure, to catch their breath. And they've got to do their picks and bans. But Tman takes game 1. Leo 2A3s were doing a good job in that game, as we would expect. What I'm actually more curious about than individual kills on the units is how many tanks were lost early game and throughout that. Look at that MI-24. Wow. That was definitely clearing up. Let's have a little look down here. So, very early loss of the T80BV there. Standard T80B, not as exciting. Lots of Leo 1s going down. Another T80BV goes down there. Another T80BV. Leo 2A3 went down there. That was one of the pushes, I assume, to a T80B. That was the one I missed. I think one of you guys spotted that. T80B, T80BV there. Leo went down at that point. 29 minutes in. That was the laser guided bombers coming in. Got both of those, well, one each. Leo 2A3 command and the standard. Roland managed to get one of the MiG-27s though. T80BVK went down to a 2A4. And this was where the big push started. You can just see lots of exchanges of tanks at that point. Yeah, lots of losses of Leo 1s. They were just getting minced in the middle there. Leo 2A4 got the command, but Leo 2A4 didn't fare well by the end. Both of them went down. What a game. Well played to both players.
Okay, straight into game number 2. This time we have a proper Russian Civil War going on. Lathans playing as the 79th and Tman playing as the 119th, which he plays a lot in the ranked ladder. This time, let's have a look at Lathans' deck first. Very typical 79th deck in the grand scheme of things. BRDM-2U for the command, nice and fast for rushing around the place. Then we've got plenty of supply, 2 sets of the trucks and 1 of the armoured vehicle. Then for infantry, obviously pretty limited in this deck, we have Conkers, Modostrelki Metas, Sapri RPO, and then we have a bunch of Modostrelki in BMP2s, and a Pulimerchik in a BMP2. Yes, I looked up how to pronounce it. If it's wrong, you can blame the Russian person that tried to say it on Fovro. Nothing fancy with the artillery here, just some standard howitzers. Surprised we aren't seeing any mortars here for smoking if nothing else. Then in the tank tab, we have plenty of T80 command tanks. We've got 6 in total, 2 T80 BKs and 4 T80 BVKs. We have a stack of T80Bs, some T80 BVs, and 6 of the T80 BV IZD-29s. Recon, we've got Razvedka Sapri, Spetsnaz Gru, and Mot Razvedka, pretty standard. Surprised we're not seeing any other helicopters there, but obviously the Mot Razvedka do come in a helicopter, though it's not Recon itself. we have the Igla, the Strela, the Cub, and the Tunguska. Again, pretty standard spread there. The Tunguska can be very effective when used carefully. Remember, its missiles are not radar. You can just turn the guns off. Then for helicopters, we have an Mi-24AA and a couple of Mi-24Ps. And then finally in the air tab, we have the MiG-31s, MiG-23s, and 2 Su-25ATs. I expect a decision to deal with the 119th specifically. Remember, these players do edit their decks very quickly before they go into these tournament games. Okay, on to Tman's 119th deck. This is a tank-heavy deck in every meaning of the word. There is very few infantry available here to play around with. So, we have plenty of supply again, 2 sets of trucks, and this time a helicopter. We also have the BTR-60 for quick response capping of points. In the infantry, we do have the Spetsnaz OP, so we do have some forward deployment along with the standard Spetsnaz at the other end there. Sapri RPO, Motor Strelky in BMP-1s, and those Pull-and-Merchik again. In the artillery tab, we have the Vasilik and the MSTA-B 152mm, and then onto the tanks, TO-55s, Rapira, very, very nice cannon. We have T-80Us times 3, 2 cards of T-80UDs, and 3 cards of T-80BVKs. Plenty of commands available there, hard to kill commands as well. And obviously those very, very nasty T-80Us and the even nastier T-80UDs, they take some serious punishment. In Recon we have Razvedka, Spetsnaz GRU and an Mi-24K. Anti-air, Igla, Strela and Tunguska. Pretty standard there, nothing too exciting. Then we've got loads of helicopters, Mi-24V rockets times 3 and the Mi-24V AT times 2. Then over in the air tab, purely anti-air here, we've got MiG-29, MiG-29 and the Su-27S. This very much feels like a I need to protect my tanks from aircraft kind of tab. Let's hop into the game. Over on the left in blue we have Lathans playing as the 79th, and over on the right in red we have Tman playing as the 119th. Let's have a little look at what Lathans has down and where it's going. Spetsnaz GRU heading up to Charlie. And the Razvedka Sapri heading up there as well. Okay, so he is going to put a bit in there. We're also going to see Iglas, a Motor Strelky Metis, and a command, but they're going to get spread out. The command's actually going to Alpha. So he's not planning to contest Charlie in terms of a command. T-80B and a Metis heading for Foxtrot. Conker's and a command heading to Echo, and then Foxtrot and Conker's just heading up there. We are seeing some more units be put down there for Lathans. Let's spin ourselves around a minute and have a look at what Tman's doing. Because this was what I was interested in, because Tman's actually sending quite a lot, yeah, and he's not even going for the buildings, he's going for the forest at the other side of Charlie. So the other side of the lumber mill. That's quite an aggressive move. Admittedly, I don't think Lathans will be able to stop him doing that without a chopper. If he had a helicopter there, but he's not going to have the range to hit those vehicles as they come in. And at the back here, we've got a couple of Iglas, a BMP-1 with some Motor Strelky, and a command. Yeah, so Tman is going to contest that point, and pretty aggressively. He's got a command heading up there. He's got one command back here, which will go to Delta, and then up to Bravo. And he's got a chunk of Spetsnaz down here, which are going to get spread around the place. Yeah, and sneaky round the back. Who's that that's going round the back? No, it's one of the GRUs. He's sending one of the Spetsnaz GRU. Wait, is he? I'm not even sure which one it is now. Huh. It's one of the Spetsnaz OP squads. That's a funny unit to send round the back. I would have expected Recon.
I guess for defensive purposes, in case Lathans sends anything around there, it makes sense. I'm surprised it's not a recon squad. A couple of Stralas gone down here as well, just to cover the centre of the map there. But that looks like the lot from this side. Don't think we're going to see too much more put down. Lathans at this side. No change there. A couple more squads gone down here. Just looking to get into some defensive positions. Strela moving up as well. Over here we had some more stuff go down. So we had the Iglas already, but we got some more. Strelki, Metis and BMPs have gone down. A few more units heading up to Charlie. So it looks like both players are going to contest Charlie a little bit more than I expected. I thought one of them might just choose to ignore it and focus on this area. But they're both actually going pretty heavy in Charlie. Not something I would put as a top priority for either of these players usually on this map. Generally, they tend to worry more about these points here. Especially these two. And then potentially getting something to Echo or Delta. So it's a little bit unusual. But they are off. There won't be too much early combat as they're pushing up here. Neither player with any helicopters in. Obviously, good opportunity when you're playing as either of these divisions for a little bit of aggression with helicopters, especially the 79th. Often see people bring in the Mi-24s, same as the 39th, but not happening here. Both players very used to dealing with helicopter rushes is the other thing to mention. So, you know, they'll be ready with a jet if necessary to deal with any helicopters. So, neither of them bothered in these games so far. And not necessarily a proper helicopter rush they would do, but certainly I could see them bringing out one or two at the start to harass forward deployment. Tman gets to that far side before the Spetsnaz crew have even arrived in Charlie. That is quite a surprise. I expected them to arrive at a similar time. But Tman has managed to deploy his forces into that side already. And now has potential to cut off the reinforcement route. I'm sure Lathans has seen them though. Some slightly earlier caps for Lathans means he's at a +1. And any early points capped now is a good thing. +2 briefly, dropping back to a +1. This is a hard map to gain points on. So getting early points advantages is really, really strong. Especially when you've got two players who are quite evenly matched. Now, the question is, has Tman made a terrible mistake here by splitting up his forces? Because we're now in a situation where technically Lathans can catch half of his units on their own in the forest here. Svedka Sapari did not fare well in that fight. Spetsnaz obviously tore them apart. All these BMP-2s coming in here. I wonder if Lathans is just ignoring those Spetsnaz and going straight for the command at the other side. His own command's coming in though. There's the Mi-24 in now. Mi-24 rocket coming in. Taking fire from the Iglas. Dishing out a bit of damage on the infantry though. BRDM-2U command in at the back there for Lathans. Going to take the long way around though, because he's realised there's obviously units knocking around. Very quiet at the other side of the map, just lots of units coming in for both players to reinforce positions at the moment. But Lathans looking pretty good here. As I said, a little bit of a surprise that both players went in so aggressively here. And unfortunately for Tman, his forces have kind of been cut in half. So Lathans just plowed straight past them. The Spetsnaz can't do anything to him if they're stuck in the forest. So he can just take the rest of that point. And now these Spetsnaz will be forever cut off from their reinforcements. And that command will still get into this point eventually. Obviously, Lathans can't forget they're there, because any reinforcements he calls in to this point are going to be at risk of being destroyed by these Spetsnaz spread around. So you will have to engage them. Just going to whiz over to the other side of the map, as Lathan seems to have come out on top in that fight for the moment. Over here, Tman trying to move up around the side of this point to be able to shoot at reinforcements coming in, potentially also to clear that building here. BTR going straight into the point. Spetsnaz Gru are already in there. Nothing to stop it going in. It does cap the point. +1 to Tman. It will become +2 when it caps it completely. T80U is on the field, going up against the Conkers. A single Conker's not going to fare very well against the T80U. Point at the far side has switched hands to Lathans though. Charlie, the lumber mill, and a command back in this point for Lathans as well, as the BTR-60 does run out the point. Conker's saved from death on a little slither of health there. The T80U is going to cause lots of issues. Metis isn't particularly scary for the T80U, but T80BV will be a bit more scary up close. Another T80U on the way in for Tman as well. Just noticed at the far left of the screen there, we've got a bunch of BMPs. They were originally, I think, going to head up to Charlie, but are being redirected into here now. Still got these units pushing around the back. That's a problem. That UAZ going back down this road is kind of going to give the game away that Tman has something round the back. That's a mistake. Ideally, you want to deploy and then move it back through the forest. He's realised. He has realised, look. He's turned it off. I was going to say that was risky. Good job he spotted it. Oh, that would have given the game away completely. Lathan's looking pretty good in terms of map control right now. Obviously, some expenditure for Tman on these very expensive T80Us. A line of T80Bs coming in for Lathans over there. Lathans at a +2 currently. And as I said on this map, as with many of the dual variants of the maps, getting early points is a massive deal. Because it's very hard to gain, you know, more than a +1 or a +2 on these maps. Especially if you're against someone of, you know, equal skill level. And, you know, if anyone's of equal skill level, it's certainly these two. SU-25 called in at the top of the map there for Lathans. Lathans looking for options to kill the T80Us here. Obviously, the T80Us are a big problem. His T80BVs are fine, but they're not really as good as a T80U or a UD. So Lathans has to look at other options to do the damage here. SU-25 AT coming in. There's only Strelas protecting it at the moment. Tunguska's been called in. One T80U is down. Strokey BMP goes down as well. SU-25 has done its job. And it gets out alive. Yep. Lathans will be happy with that. That's a nice kill. And he didn't even lose the Su-25 in the process. Just going to have a quick look over here to catch up with what Tman's doing about this. The answer is not a huge amount. He's sending in units a little bit piecemeal there. One Spetsnaz squad moving up, another OP squad moving up as well. But I think Lathans has that pretty much secured at the moment. Lathans is being a little bit aggressive in the middle here. Those BMP-2s we saw before pushing into the center and being flanked here by T-80Bs. This is an aggressive push. Lathans is going for this point. And I don't think Tman can stop it. Tman's very focused on this point over here. BMP-1 goes down. Mi-24's responding here. I hear another jet coming in for Lathans. 2 jets in. Su-25 looking for a kill on that T-80U. T-80U smokes just in time. What about the UD? Can it be seen? It can. T-80UD goes down. Su-25 going in for the Mi-24V as well. Mi-24 goes down. MiG-29s are in. But at this stage, even if the Su-25 goes down, it's paid for itself. Both Su-25s go down. But they've killed a T-80U, they've killed a T-80UD. Not ideal to lose them, but not the end of the world. T-80U here just being charged by these T-80Bs. T-80U's panicked, and it's going to go down. Hull breach. Lathans is just charging it. Down it goes. One of the T-80Bs goes down, but that's a good exchange. That is a good exchange. That is not good for Tman. 2 T-80Us and a T-80UD down. This has been well played by Lathans. Over here, though, the battle has recommenced for this point. Tman charging in his helicopters. Only 1 Igla remains in this point. Lathans is about to get overwhelmed. BRDM is running away from the chopper. He's trying to dance it around. But with the loss of the AA there, and the infantry as well, Tman will retake Charlie, the lumber mill. Jet on the way in, looking for a kill on those helicopters. MiG-23 gets the kill on 1. And the point switches hands again, but Lathans with a nice advantage in points, 387. However, Lathans not in control of this point down here. He's looking pretty good towards Bravo, but he did lose Foxtrot. There's not a lot there protecting that for Tman, though. So there's potential for Lathans to get back in there. He will need tanks to do it, though. Currently, he's focusing on taking this. His BRDM-2U is in the point. He does take it. Back to neutralized. The command goes down. Oh, the command is killed by an ATGM before it actually gets the cap completely. It remains +1 to Tman. That was unlucky. MiG-23 still flying around, looking for kills on helicopters. Another Mi-24 going down there. Tman not really responding to these jets very much. But Tman obviously looking much better now. Has complete control of Charlie, the lumber mill. Unfortunately, in the middle, not looking so good. T-80B still moving up there for Lathans. T-80BVK trying to move in to retake that point, I think, but he's going to be susceptible to being side shot by those T-80s. Or by the BMP-2 and its ATGM, potentially. Obviously, can get caught in a crossfire, depending on the positioning of Lathans units. I'm wondering if Lathans is bringing in anything for this side. He has... Oh, those Spetsnaz OP have moved up to that building to cover for reinforcements coming in. Lathans actually moving units in to defend there. Lathans, however, lacking a command on the field right now. So can't actually take any points, even though he's in complete control of Bravo. And that +1 to Tman, yes, it's only a +1, but it might allow him to catch up at the moment. There we go, T80BK being called in by Lathans now. Tman, not in the worst position in the grand scheme of things, has a lot of control over this area of the map. Not a lot of long-range control, though. It's all short-range infantry. The only long-range thing is the T80BVK. Where is that off to? It's just moving up to rearm. I wondered if he was going to try and get it in the back point. That would be very risky. There is still a Conkers covering the back there. Motorstrelki finally being found by the Mi-24. Sneaking around the back there. MiG-23 coming in for that. Tman has lost a lot of Mi-24s in this game so far. Mi-24 goes down. MiG-31 in at the back there for Lathans. Looking for kills on the MiG-29. This is a loss of a MiG-29 as well. It is! Oh! Another MiG-29 comes in. The MiG-23 goes down, but the loss of a MiG-29 is not a good exchange. MiG-23 managing to take out the chopper as well. Lots of helicopter losses for Tman. Certainly at the moment, Lathans winning the air war. Artillery in for Tman. Firing on the Spetsnaz Gru in Foxtrot. We're a little bit stuck right now as Lathans is basically waiting for reinforcements and a command. But in terms of the actual map control, it's kind of swung around in that we had a situation where Lathans was very much having the map control other than this sort of area. And now it's kind of switched. Tman looks in a slightly better position, but it's really about what Lathans does with these units after he captures Bravo. Does he have to leave them in Bravo to defend it? Or can he move them? Because ideally he needs to keep moving them. He needs to be aggressive and potentially push across this way to take Foxtrot. 2 T-80Us in. We've seen the Su-25 ATs. Both of them have gone down. I'm not sure Lathans will have anything else, specifically AT, in his deck to deal with the T-80Us, but we will see. He's going to have to rely on overwhelming T-80Bs and T-80BVs. Overwhelming numbers to make the difference here. And obviously some lucky shots like that BMP2 just got on the BMP1. Lucky shots like that will also be very beneficial. T-80BK still on the way in. Looks like it's going to stop by Foxtrot on the way. Couple of T-80BV IZDs rolling in from the back of the map now. Just called in by Lathans. Lathans is still looking good in terms of tank numbers, and having managed to kill 2 T-80Us and a UD, that's a big thing against the 119th. But he needs to keep that up. He needs to keep exchanging well. But as we saw in the last game, he exchanged very well, and Tman still came out on top in the end. And Tman here almost has caught up in points at the moment. T-80 BVK goes back into Foxtrot. If Lathans can take that out, that'll free him up to be a lot more aggressive with moving his command tank around. But the question is, can he kill it? Jet on the way in for Tman, coming in the left of the screen. MiG-29 trying to provide some cover, I think. There's a jet in for Lathans as well. Just going to zoom back a bit so we can see what that is. It's another SU-25 AT. Lathans has 2 cards. Naughty, naughty. Manages to dodge the MiG-29. MiG-29 takes a bit of fire. That SU-25 is looking for some tank kills again. MiG-31 is in for the MiG-29. MiG-29 goes down. That is devastating. That's 2 MiG-29s lost for Tman. That is not good. Another one brought in. But if Lathans can keep knocking out the MiG-29s like that, that's very, very bad. It's almost like Lathans is baiting him at the moment. Come and get my SU-25. Come and get it. Fly over my AA. And Tman's kind of falling for it. SU-25 has taken no hits. Is now coming in for the kill. What's it going for? Oh, veers off. Obviously can't see what he wants. T80 BVK being moved in for Tman here. Where's Lathans off to? He's coming in for a kill. Going for the command tank, perhaps? No, T80U side shot. Gets the cannon fire on, but the missile does not make contact. Another T80 BVK coming in for Lathans. Jet coming in for the SU-25. SU-25 a bit out of position this time, obviously. It was engaged. MiG-29 gets the kill. MiG-31 comes in, going for... 29 gets out this time, though. 29 gets out. Lathans still ahead in points. Tman got some catching up to do, but Lathans once again stuck with his commands. Waiting for another T80 command to come in. His other one is stuck in Foxtrot. Over at this side of the map, a handful of units down protecting that point for Tman, but Lathans no interest in it at the moment. Lathans switching over to Mi-24s. Obviously gives him a bit of anti-tank capability from range. T80 BVK there taking a shot from... Ooh. Conquers misses. Thought we were going to see some nasty side shot on the T80 BVK there. A little bit stalemated right now. There's a T80 UD covering the T80 BVK over here now. Is that 2 command tanks? Lathans with 2 T80 BVKs coming in there. I thought it was just a single one that was called in, but it's 2. Interesting. Lathans going for a flanking maneuver. Pushing around this way. Wanting to cut off that T80 BVK. Very aggressive maneuver here. Not sure Tman was expecting it. BMP-1 back there won't last very long. Marker's gone down on it. Lathans pulls back. T80 UD pushing up here. Going for the infantry. Artillery in on the Conkers, but the Conkers moving out of the way. Lathans needs some kills again on these big heavy tanks. He's still in the lead point-wise. There's his T80 BVKs making contact with the point. +1 to Lathans. That's exactly what he needed. Yeah, a lack of AA at the moment in the middle. It really depends on what Lathans brings in. But he's got a good push going on over here. That T80U obviously a big problem, but has taken quite a bit of damage. But they are hard to kill, and that's the issue. They can take a lot of damage. Oh, Tman briefly moves his BVK out of that point. allowing Lathans a slight boost. Tunguska goes down over there. AA not looking good now for Tman. He's got a couple of Strellas at the far side in the forest, but he doesn't... Oh, he's bringing in another Tunguska as we speak on the left-hand side of the screen there. But Lathans being very mobile with his tanks. He's pushing across this way. Now that he's capped that, he needs to be careful though, because he could easily be caught in a crossfire between the T-80Us and the UD. Exchanging missiles with the T-80U at the moment. T-80BVK there pushing up. T-80UD engaging as well. Lathans wants a kill on that T-80BVK. He's going to get it. Down it goes. Point switches hands again. Back to a +2 for Lathans. 15 minutes left of the game. If Lathans can keep doing that, it's all he needs to do. Oh, T-80B goes down to the T-80UD's missile. It has a very good ATGM. We're going to have a quick look at that just as a reminder. The reflex, 21 pen, good range, decent accuracy. Very nasty to get hit with one of those. Especially if you're only a T-80B. Oh, nice side shot from the T-80BK on the T-80UD there. T-80UD is having a rough time of it. Strella's engaging on the Mi-24P. BVK back into Bravo for Tman. Will neutralize again, but still plenty of units around for Lathans. Lathans here moving these tanks around. I think he's wanting to get a kill on that T-80UD. He could engage it. He could probably win the fight, but he'd be risking losing a couple of tanks in that combat. I think he also doesn't know what's over there in terms of infantry. I think that's the scary thing. If he drives his tanks here, what infantry from the forest could fire at him? So I think he's being a little bit careful about that. T-80U's taking a bit of punishment as well now. Lathans still way ahead in points. 2 MiG-29s in. I think that's the last MiG-29s that Tman has in action. Lathans will pick his time carefully before he engages those, preferably when they're on their own or when he's at an advantage. And there's the advantage. He's got multiple jets flying in at them now. 2 MiG-31s. Firing from long range, gets the kill on one, and then he just gets them out of there. Once again, Tman massively on the back foot in the air combat. Lathans will be pleased with that outcome. Unfortunate dice rolls for Tman on the air combat. And a bit of good timing by Lathans. Command is back in Bravo very briefly for Lathans, but has to move out due to the artillery. Foxtrot looking pretty well defended now. He's leaving the T-80BK in there. He's got a T-80B. There's another T-80BVK coming in for Tman though, and a third one called in. Lathans returning the favour of the artillery. The reality is Lathans is looking pretty good right now with just under 12 minutes left of this game. He's looking pretty good. And these have both been long games. But at the moment it's looking like we will get our third and final match between the two of them. But never say never. Because it is still possible Tman turns this around. We saw Lathans almost turn around the last game, to be honest. And Tman's T80U's looking like a nasty wall right now. Lathans trying to make them back off with his ATGMs from the T80BVs. He's trying to kill the T80BVK. I'm surprised that... Oh, there's the smoke going down. I was going to say... A little bit risky playing that game with the T80BVK. He's wanting to bait Lathans out so that his T80Us can get long-range shots off on the T80BVs, but... You can't play that game too much, because if you lose all the commands, that's it. MI-24 is coming back in for Lathans now. Oh, the T80U wall moving up. Still the T80UD at the far side waiting. Just waiting. One of the T80U's badly damaged though. 10 minutes left. Both players with some nasty tank walls going on. Few jets in again for Lathans. There's the final SU-25 in play. Is that looking for a kill on the T80UD? It is. T80UD goes down. That's exactly what Lathans needed. He's going for anything else? No, he's evacing. Takes here from the Tunguska. MiG-29 coming in for the SU. MiG-29, no. MiG-29 badly damaged. The SU goes down, but both MiG-29s are going to... No! The final MiG-29 survives. He lost the last one in the last engagement, and this time this one does get out. Now that was some lucky dice rolls. I mean, Lathans got the T80UD. That's a big kill, but at the same time, I don't think he really wanted to lose the SU-25 if he could help it. And the fact that the MiG-31s just didn't get the hits on their second volley is very disappointing. The tank wall engages. With 8 minutes left, there's a lot of points to make up. Tman needs to take ground. And Lathans needs to hold. Lots of supplies coming in for Lathans, unsurprisingly, at the left-hand side of the screen here. T80BVK moving into Foxtrot. T80B looking for a kill on something. Taking shots, though. Tman being very aggressive now, and he has to be. Only a +1 at the moment. The T80BK remains in Foxtrot here. No movement at the other side of the map. I thought we maybe would see a command pushed around the back into Alpha. You know, going through the forest at the top left of the screen and in the back door. I do see there's a command coming in, but no idea where it's going at the moment. T80BVK chased out the point. Lathans pushing his tanks around here. Badly damaged T80U. Can he get the kill on the BVK is the question. Another BVK off the board would be very nice. I'm surprised that Tman didn't move that. I'm surprised that Tman didn't just reverse that out of there. Because that's exactly what Lathans wants. Dead BVKs. The more commands he kills, the easier this is. Badly damaged BVK at the back of Bravo. Badly damaged BVK here getting repaired. Sapri RPO coming in to try and deal some damage to the infantry here. Lathans still has his BVK over there. He's still got a BVK back here getting repaired. Lathans still has the opportunity to push back into Bravo and gain a few more points here. But we will see if he can manage it. BVK is being very pushy here. 6 minutes left. I'm not sure a T-Man can pull this back. Lathans makes it back into Bravo. He's looking pretty good right now. The 80 BVK's pushing into here though. Down in Foxtrot. It's just a mess of infantry in Bravo at the moment. But it's more about what happens here. T80 BVK about to die, engine damaged. The other one makes it into the point, +1 to T-Man, but +1 isn't enough. He needs more than a +1. +2. But the command is back in for Lathans, back to a +1. And Lathans is just charging. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Look at the TO-55 train coming in. Everyone's down to last-ditch aggression. Lathans just charging in with T-80s here, trying to get a kill on that BVK. But he's taking fire from multiple angles, and he's losing tanks. He's losing a lot of units here. But he's just got to hold. He's got to continue to hold. We never did see any push through from the lumber mill to the alpha point here at the top left hand corner of the screen. It's all been a big open air battle with these tanks. Obviously some serious aggression now from T-Man. But this is just an exchange of tanks at the moment. Mostly in T-Man's favour, of course. He has those T-80Us still in play. Jets coming in. And the air jet coming in for the Mi-24. I feel like both players here are just cleaning up now. As we enter the final few minutes. But I think it's already over. Another T-80 BK coming in. Takes a nasty hit from the T-80U. Lathans half in control at this point, but doesn't have a command tank in there. Potentially could get that BVK in, I guess. He'd lose it, but he could get it in briefly. Artillery being used to dislodge Lathan's command tanks. More T-80 BVKs being called in. T-80 BVs on the way. Lathans is just calling in all the commands to hold. 400 points and counting with 2 minutes left. But Lathans still has 2 commands to move in there. He's got 1 in, 1 sat behind it. TO-55 train has arrived. Should we see how fast they die? They're just getting wrecked, unsurprisingly. TO-55s versus T-80s. Nope. Nope, nope. Well, at least it'll make a nice screenshot, all of those wrecks down there. And my 24k goes down to the Strela. And that is surely game. At 1 minute left, there's just no way that Tman can take control of the point. T80U very badly damaged. I think Tman knew what he was doing with them. He knew it wasn't going to work out. I think it was just too difficult to be that aggressive here. But Lathans is going to try it. He's going to try and take out the BVK to stop that point ticking up for the last 14 seconds. But it doesn't matter. He's won the game anyway. He has the lead in points. And that's what matters in this best of 3. He's just charging down the BVK. But there's the game. Now, it will come up that that was a draw, but technically by the rules of the tournament, I believe that counts as a win for Lathans because he was obviously ahead in points at the end. And if they've got exactly the same number of points, then the person who was most recently ticking up points wins because they most recently had the control, it's deemed. Obviously, it's very rare that would happen. Tman did come out on top in the kills in the end. Obviously, he did kill a lot of tanks with those T80Us at the end there. But let's have a look at the kills and losses. I can't think of anything that was really stand out there. The T80s, obviously. If we want to see what killed all the TO55s, the majority of them were killed by that single T80. BVIZD. Some of those tanks got very few kills at the end there. Mi-24 did some clearing up at the top. That was in Charlie, the lumber mill. T80U did well. T80U did well here too. That's a lot of kills. And that's... I wonder if a lot of those were towards the end as well. BVK did pretty good. And yeah, the T80Us... getting quite a lot of kills towards the end of the game there. Another great game. So, a 1-1 draw so far. Thank you everyone for joining me for these great games. Stay tuned, tomorrow I will upload the final game as well. Obviously, if you can't wait, you can go and watch it right now on my Twitch channel. I'll leave the link down below to that VOD. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get